Hello, everyone. We thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Best Practices for Conducting EHS Inspections. I want to let you know we're going to be starting everything in about 1 minute as we allow more people to file in. But again, you are in the right place, and we thank you for joining us. Hello, and again, welcome to everyone. We thank you for joining us. I want to let you know that you're in the right place for the EHS Inspections webinar, just allowing some more people to file in. A little less than 30 seconds, we'll get things started. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's Safety and Health webcast, Best Practices for Conducting EHS Inspections, sponsored by Vector Solutions. My name is Kevin Drewley. I'm an associate editor with Safety and Health magazine, and I will be moderating today's session. Thanks for joining us. We hope you all are safe and well amid the COVID-19 pandemic. In a few minutes, we'll start the presentation, but first I want to go over some preliminary items. The views of today's speakers and organizations are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the National Safety Council or Safety and Health magazine. Any mention of a commercial enterprise, product, or publication doesn't mean the council or magazine endorses those items. At the end of today's webcast, we'll conduct a question and answer session. To ask a question, simply click the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, type your question, and click the send button. Feel free to ask your question at any time during the presentation. You don't have to wait for the question and answer session to begin. We'll try to answer as many questions as possible, but because of the large number of participants today, we might not get to every question. Any unanswered questions will be forwarded along to today's speakers. At the end of the webcast, you'll be asked to complete a brief evaluation survey that will appear on a separate screen. We'll let you know more about that after the presentation. This webcast is archived, so you can access it after today's live event. To view this webcast and all of our past webcasts, go to safetyandhealthmagazine.com/events. You may also receive a link in a post-event email. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Our speakers today are Danielle Goddard and Candace Brady. Danielle is a product marketing manager at Vector who brings expertise in helping organizations build inspection checklists, analyze results and findings, and track follow-up activities. She has more than 7 years of experience in EHS management and safety solutions. Candace serves as product owner for Vector EHS Management, a leading safety management and inspection software solution that helps organizations efficiently record, track, and trend safety data to improve workplace safety, ensure regulatory compliance, reduce risks, and save time and cost. She brings extensive experience with inspection software. Danielle and Candace, we thank you for being here today. Danielle, whenever you're ready, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much. And thank everyone for attending our webinar on how to conduct EHS inspections. We're just going to give you just a brief introduction to our speakers before diving right in and covering why organizations should conduct safety inspections, best practices for setting up an inspection program, and finally, we'll share just some tools and resources that organizations can leverage to help record and analyze some inspection data. So without further ado, we'll just get started by introducing our speakers briefly. I am Danielle Goddard, Product Marketing Manager for Vector Solutions. During my time at the company, I've helped our customers with creating inspection checklists and analyzing their findings. I'll pass things over to my colleague, Candace Brady, so she can introduce herself now.
Hi, everyone. My name is Candace Brady. I'm a product owner here at Vector Solutions. I specifically work with our Vector EHS Management software and work very closely with the inspections module within that. So I'm here to tell you today all about what you can expect with our software.
Thanks so much, Candace. All right, so let's get started. So who is Vector Solutions? We are a leading provider of software as a service solutions that help organizations operate at the highest level and prepare for more challenging work environments. We serve over 20,000 customers and about 19 million users. And we provide a comprehensive set of products to help organizations manage incidents, corrective actions, claims, hazards, inspections, behavior-based safety observations, job safety analyses, as well as safety data sheets and industrial hygiene activities. We also do offer a powerful learning management system and an extensive online training library. Okay, and now let's dive right in. So why should organizations conduct safety inspections? They're a really important tool to proactively prevent injuries and illnesses before they occur. They can help organizations to get a better understanding of job tasks that are being performed. They can help organizations determine if conditions or work practices may lead to incidents. They can help you to locate unsafe conditions and equipment, focus on unsafe work practices or behaviors, and also reveal the need for new safeguards and corrective actions to eliminate or remediate hazards in the workplace. And also, furthermore, they do help you to track and monitor on corrective actions and follow-up activities. And they're a really important part of getting more employees involved in your safety program and culture. So just some best practices for completing safety inspections. You'll want to create and schedule inspections and set a frequency for when they should be carried out. Your inspection schedule should really state when you'll be inspecting each area or item within the workplace, who will be carrying out that inspection, and what the level of detail that each area or item will be inspected. And there's a variety of standards that agencies have really published for organizations to follow and use for inspections, including the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, National Fire Protection Association, and the Industrial Organization for Standards. So lots of really good standards that are out there for organizations to use to help them develop and build their inspection checklist. And it's important to have your checklists readily available, and they can it's important to, during the inspection, to identify any risks and hazards that you notice while you're carrying out that inspection. And then, of course, a big part of any workplace inspection is documenting and correcting the items that you notice that are sort of indeficient, and just making sure that those follow-up items are being carried out in a timely fashion. It's important to just prioritize and assign responsibility for fixing any open problems, and also providing workers with documentation and findings of inspection results. So who should conduct workplace inspections? It's pretty obvious that health and safety committee members would be a first choice to carry out workplace inspections, but it's also a good idea to involve any workers that might have knowledge of regulations or procedures, knowledge of potential hazards, and have experience with the work procedures involved. The workers who are most familiar with a particular piece of equipment or task are more intimately acquainted with the types of things that could go wrong and any hazards that might occur. So it's a good idea to involve a larger group of workers in your workplace inspections. And how frequently should inspections be done? Well, it does depend on a couple of different things. For example, the frequency of planned formal inspections may already be defined in health and safety regulations. For example, OSHA requires that forklifts should be inspected at least daily, or at least at the end of each shift if they're being used around the clock. So they may already be set in safety and health regulations. But it could also depend on the number and size of the different work operations happening at your facility, the type of equipment and work processes that are being used, the number of shifts that take place at your facility, and if there's any new processes or machinery that are being used. So to get started with planning for an inspection program, you'll want to first, create and build your checklist, train the members of the team that will be carrying out the inspections, recording your findings, and determining a way in which you'll be doing so, whether it's pen and paper, Excel spreadsheets, or something like a software solution, and then determining the responsibility for who will be responsible for corrective actions and remediating any identified hazards. And then finally, just developing a system for how you're going to track any follow-up items that are assigned for correction. So what should be examined during an EHS inspection? An inspection really kind of serves to answer the following questions: who, what, when, where, and how. So you'll want to pay particular attention to any items that are likely to develop into unsafe or unhealthy conditions, perhaps because of stress, wear, impact, heat, corrosion, vibration, chemical reaction, or misuse. And you'll also want to consider providing inspections for any areas in which work isn't done regularly, such as parking lots, rest areas, office storage areas, and so on. And while you're performing an inspection, it's important to look at all workplace elements, including the people, namely the workers who are going to be performing tasks, the work environment, including any hazards that you note, such as noise, vibration, lighting, temperature, or ventilation, any equipment that's being used, including materials, tools, and machinery, as well as any process, involving how the worker interacts with the elements in a series of tasks or operations. And there are a variety of different types of hazards that organizations should keep an eye out for during inspections. First, obviously, safety hazards caused by, anything ranging from inadequate machine guards, unsafe workplace conditions, or unsafe work practices. Biological hazards caused by, items such as viruses, bacteria, fungi, or parasites. Any chemical hazards caused by a solid, liquid, vapor, gas, dust, fume, or mist. And then ergonomic hazards, which are really caused by physiological and psychological demands on the worker, including repetitive and forceful movements, any awkward positioning arising from improper work methods, and improperly designed workstations, tools, and equipment. And finally, keep an eye out for physical hazards, anything caused by noise, vibration, energy, weather, heat, electricity, radiation, or pressure. So while you're carrying out an inspection, if you notice any immediate danger, it's important to draw attention to it. You'll want to shut down and lock out any hazardous items that can't be brought to a safe operating standard until they're repaired. You don't necessarily want to operate equipment yourself. If you want to get a demonstration, it's important to ask the operator of that equipment. You'll want to clearly define each hazard and note its exact location in your notes. And you can also, do on-the-spot recording of all findings before they're forgotten. It's important to just record what you have or have not examined, just in case you're interrupted, so that you can easily return to kind of where you left off in case of any interruption. And it's important to ask questions, but you don't necessarily want to disrupt normal work activities. So try not to, be as intrusive as possible. And while you are looking at a particular piece of equipment, you'll want to consider its static or its stop position, or the conditions in which it's in motion while you're inspecting. If a machine's shut down, you can consider postponing the inspection until it's functioning again. You'll want to consider some factors such as how a work or task is organized and the pace of the work and how those factors impact safety. And again, noting, employee involvement, it's important to discuss as a group, can a problem, hazard, or accident be caused from a situation when looking at a piece of equipment, the process, or the environment. And it's important to just kind of get feedback and discuss as a group what corrections or controls might be appropriate to remediate that hazard. And it may not be possible to detect all hazards just by relying on your senses or looking at them during the inspection. You may have to monitor equipment to measure the levels of exposure to chemical, radiation, or biological agents. And furthermore, it's always a good idea to take a photograph if you find you're struggling to really clearly describe or sketch a particular situation. The picture's worth 1,000 words. So the more data that you use in your trend analysis, the more hazards can be identified and assessed and addressed. So it's really important to consider involving many employees out in the field and not just safety and health staff. Okay, and so when you are working on putting together your written inspection report, an inspection form typically contains the following components. First being a written description of any identified hazards and recommended methods for control, the department or work area that's been inspected, the date that inspection took place, and the inspector's name and job title. It's important to record any findings and issues in a concise and factual way. Management, as well as any employee, really should be able to understand and evaluate the problems, assign priorities, and just quickly reach decisions. After each identified hazard, you'll want to specify any recommended corrective action and definitely set a date for its completion if possible. And each inspection team member ideally should just review that inspection for accuracy, clarity, and thoroughness. So it's important also to follow up on any corrective actions that have been assigned. Management needs to, do due diligence to make sure that these actions actually have been taken. And by analyzing some of your corrective actions and inspection reports, you may actually learn the following, whether there are any priorities for any open corrective actions, whether there's a need for improving safe work practices. You might get, new insight about why some incidents are occurring in particular areas. You might learn if there's any opportunities for education and training in certain shifts or work areas, as well as any areas and equipment that require more in-depth hazard analysis. And with that, I will turn things over to my colleague, Candace Brady, who will just be providing just a little bit more information on some tools that organizations can use to carry out workplace inspections.
Okay, thanks, Danielle. So why use inspection software? We can go to the next slide. There you go. Thanks, Danielle. So why use inspection software? So first, reduces duplicate data entry. So inspections can be performed and saved electronically and shared across the organization. So no need for pen and paper, no need to question, did somebody else do this already? It's simple to track the trends that you find in inspections. Where are you doing well? Where do you need improvement? Where are your issues occurring more often? Are you addressing deficiencies with corrective actions? And how well are you keeping on top of those? Results can be instant, can be sent out by email, even automatically, or on demand if you'd like. And reporting can just take a few clicks, again, with maybe some automated options that generate and send reports to you. Inspection software will help you view results and trends quickly. And these days, everyone's working with mobile devices. There's lowering costs. More workers are familiar with mobile technology, and we have multiple mobile options available. So that means inspection software can help you take your inspections literally on the go. All right, next we're going to talk about something specific to Vector EHS and what it can provide for you. So we have a robust EHS application. It includes web functionality, mobile accessibility. We offer a public web form with your own unique link for employees to use on demand. We include the ability to create and track corrective actions as needed. And we give you extensive reporting options that include printouts and dashboards. So let's talk about the mobile app. Mobile app lets your users take their inspections on the go. The checklists that you can create, you can use, of course, when you're online, or you can download them to use offline if you happen to be going somewhere where you won't have access to data. While you're creating an inspection, you can add corrective actions as you go. You can attach photos and videos as you go. You can take photos and videos. You can edit photos within the app. And completed inspections are uploaded and synced to your account immediately. And best of all, this is included with the Vector EHS Management inspection subscription, so no additional cost for this. So now to talk about the public web form. So the public web form lets anyone in your company complete an inspection. So that means they don't need to be set up as a user. You get a unique link that your users can click on, access the form right away. The form's configured how you want it, as much as you want it to match the recording form you have within our web application. And once completed, users are prompted to submit the form, and that's it. And the data is submitted to EHS in real time. And then notifications are sent out to designated Vector EHS users, so they're made aware of that the inspection has been completed, and they can begin to review and track those. Our web application, which has the most functionality, includes some additional features. One is recurring inspections, which are created and managed within the web application. Reporting and dashboards, which we'll talk a little bit more about. Email notification setup and management, pretty robust system of email notifications that you can go in and designate who's going to get an email, when they're going to get an email, how often they're going to get an email, and even what information to include in those emails. So we really make it customizable to your needs. And finally, we have an admin portal on the web application, which allows your administrators to set up users, configure forms, configure checklists, and any other settings that you need to make inspections work for you. So as I've mentioned, Vector EHS makes it easy to identify corrective actions. It's easy to create them on the fly. As you're logging a deficiency, you can open up a corrective action right away. You can add a corrective action to an individual item that you are inspecting or to the inspection as a whole. Using those corrective actions, you can make recommendations, set deadlines, set follow-ups, identify responsible parties. So if you want to have an escalation chain, you can do that. And they're simple to track. Again, automated notifications, reminders, and we have those dashboards and reports, which we'll talk about, that help make it easy for you to track those as well. So let's talk about reporting and what's available. So we have inspection printout reports, whether that's a single inspection, multiple inspections, reports on deficiencies, reports by group of facilities, by region, so many different options so you can get that information. In addition, we give you analysis grid log reports. That's where you can look at all of your data. Think of it like an Excel spreadsheet. You can add filters, sorts, aggregates, groupings, and more to create high-level and detailed reporting that you can save, export, or schedule to email out daily, weekly, or monthly to important people in your organization. You can also add to these reports pivot tables, bar charts, pie charts, heat maps, you name it. You can add it, really get that information in a nice visual format for those folks who really want to see things from a high level. And once you create these things, you can add them to a library of dashboard panels. And then you can go to our dashboard. And our dashboard is a configurable space for you to add or remove panels. We have a library of default panels that you can use. You can, again, create those custom panels. And you can set it up however you want it, identify key metrics, and really set up the visual data that you and your users need to see the most. So to sum up, with Vector EHS Management, you get easy data entry, consistent and streamlined recording, configurability options to record inspections the way you need to, easy creation and linking of corrective actions, and of course, metrics, summaries, easy ways to compare your data quickly over time. And across our application, which includes more than inspections, we include, again, email notifications alerts. They're extensive and configurable. Document and photo storage management. Export capabilities. You can do on-demand exports, automated exports, daily exports. We have lots of different options for you. We have search and filter tools within each of the modules, within reporting, that really help you narrow down the records you need. And of course, the dashboards, which will give you that quick high-level view of your data. And in some modules, we even offer e-signatures for approval and for sign-off. And that's it for Vector EHS.
Thanks, Candace. I think we're going to open things up to questions now.
Yes, excellent. Great job to you both, Danielle and Candace. Thanks for your insights and your expertise. Before we do start the Q&A, just want to remind everyone of the evaluation survey that we're asking you to complete. The survey will open in a different screen after the presentation. Your input's important because it'll help us improve future webcasts, and we appreciate you taking the extra time to offer your feedback. Again, just as a reminder, if you wish to ask a question, simply click the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, type your question, and click the send button. So to get things started, just what advice would you give to a company that's looking to improve the way they're currently tracking and looking at the effectiveness of their EHS inspections?
Sure. I think I can take that. I think if you're looking to improve your inspection program, it's important to really just review your historical data. It's really important to just analyze trends and see, if there's a common pattern of deficiencies that you might be identifying over and over again that need to be corrected. And if you're having trouble, identifying trends and sifting through all of your data, there are definitely tools and resources that can help, like safety inspection software. Like some of the different reports and dashboards that Candace kind of provided an overview of can kind of help you to better locate trends and sort of make sense of all of the feedback and noise. So that's just kind of one piece of advice I think I would advise for organizations.
Next question asks, so just where can I go to get more information on the features of the safety management and inspection software that was being talked about?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would advise anyone who's interested in learning more about Vector Solutions and our inspection software to go to our website, vectorsolutions.com, where we provide just a lot more information about our software.
Next question asks, it's kind of just a hypothetical or just throwing something out, and it asks, would a better approach to do a hazard assessment, such as to identify conditions that could cause harm and then a risk assessment, would a better approach be to characterize the probabilities and severities of harm from the hazards?
Yeah, so I would say a hazard assessment is definitely a really important part of proactive incident prevention. But I would say that also inspections are also a powerful tool in helping to identify problems before they occur. For example, you might find that a certain piece of machinery isn't being maintenanced in the proper way or at the correct frequency. I would say that they're both very important resources for organizations to use to prevent injuries and illnesses before they occur.
Moving on to the next question. Is there a reason that photographs are not used first and foremost along with diagrams and sketches? Just saying something alluded to in the presentation made it sound like photos are done almost as an aside.
Yeah, thank you very much for pointing that out. I would say that photos are absolutely shouldn't be used as an aside. They are an important part of an inspection, and they're always used as a really good resource for inspectors to look back on. So I think they are definitely an important component of an inspection, because they are such a crucial part of the process. We do, allow users to upload photos and attachments to inspection checklists. So thank you for pointing that out. They shouldn't really be an aside, but they are an important part of the process as well.
Well, we had multiple attendees thinking alike, and on the timestamp, it looks like right around the same time of the presentation. And this is more just a comment, or looks like someone seeing your thoughts on this. And they share on taking photographs. I always recommend that wide area photos as well as up close photos of the hazard be taken. And this makes it easier in their experience to identify for those who were not present during the inspection.
Yeah, no, not a question, but an excellent point. And thank you very much for pointing it out. It's really important for folks to consider as well. I definitely agree that a wider area range as well as close-ups are super helpful for folks. And they're absolutely correct in that it's helpful for any employees who weren't actually present during the inspection to get a better understanding of any identified hazards.
Well, this one is a question, and the attendee asks, what do the output reports look like?
Sure, I can answer that. So you can get reports out of Vector EHS a few different ways. So one is to actually print out a copy of an individual recording form, and that just will create a PDF for you that is a nice stylized version of that. You have the ability to pull multiple inspection printouts, and again, it will just be a kind of a stylized version of a recording form. Just looks a little bit neater. We have additional kind of roll-up reports where you can look at maybe higher level data, and they'll come again in PDF form and kind of be a grid with some of your data in there. And all the way up to the analysis grids that I talked about. You're able to pull reports out in Excel, CSV, or even PDF format. And PDF, of course, is really useful if you're adding charts, pivot tables to those reports. Then you can get all of that in one. So we have a lot of different options for getting that data to you.
Next question, does the Vector Solutions software give an option to record hazard observations?
Yes, yeah, you can absolutely record hazards as well as behavior-based safety observations within the software as well.
Next one, is many of the safety inspections, audits, et cetera, contain regulatory information that may need to be kept confidential? How are the inspections and data saved, and who has access to that info?
Sure. So one of the features of Vector EHS is you can create user levels so that only appropriate team members have access to sensitive and confidential information. So sensitive information can be protected.
All right. Is your inspection software designed specifically for a certain industry, or can it be used by any industry?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. It's not defined for any particular industry. We have customers in a variety of verticals, so it can be used virtually by any industry. We have a variety of pre-built inspection checklists that organizations can use out of the box, but folks can also import their very own inspection checklist to use as is.
Well, no, we're continuing to get some great questions, and we appreciate it. And just a reminder, if you want to ask something of Danielle and Candace, just simply click the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen, type your question, and click the send button. With that, we'll move on to the next one. This attendee says, this all sounds very interesting. Can we get a more clear demonstration of the application?
Yes, absolutely. If you'd like to get a demonstration of the application, we recommend you go to vectorsolutions.com and just simply sign up for a demo, and a member of our sales team will be in touch to get that scheduled and walk you through the software.
Do you have these options in other languages apart from English?
Yes, so the software can be translated into multiple languages.
Does the Vector product integrate with other online data management systems?
Yes, so Vector EHS Management can integrate with other online systems, for example, HR and payroll systems, as well as any third-party administrators. So yes, we do offer integrations with other online platforms.
Can it be used to help with post-accident or incident investigations? And are there any injury recording tools included with the software?
Yes, absolutely. We do offer an incidents module as well that employees can use to create and record a variety of different workplace incidents, including employee injuries and illnesses, near misses, vehicle incidents, as well as property damage and security incidents as well. And we do also offer reporting as well as OSHA regulatory reports so that folks can generate OSHA record keeping logs for any reportable incidents as well.
Backtracking to the discussion on photos, can multiple photos be attached with an individual safety issue?
Yes, yeah. So organizations can attach multiple photos to an inspection checklist, and they can even attach photos for each individual line item of the checklist as well.
Well, again, folks, keep those questions coming if you have them. If you want to ask a question, click that Q&A button at the bottom of the screen, type your question, and click send. Just as we're talking stream of consciousness to either of you, anything else pop into mind, or any kind of further overarching thoughts or things that might have been left unsaid so far this afternoon?
Not that I can think of. I did see just a couple more questions come in recently that it looks like.
Sure. No, I'm seeing those as well. Is all the data residing in the application's database retained on your server? And if so, what standards do you use to ensure data security?
So I can answer that one just very high level. Yeah, so yes, the data exists on our servers. We use cloud-based server technology. We have complex password requirements for users, and on the back end, we run security scans continuously. We're using firewalls. We're using kind of any of the available up-to-the-minute tools out there. I would say that's just a high level. If you wanted to get a little bit more detail, we could talk about that in in a product demonstration if we wanted to move forward.
Is the software integrated, having the LMS, SDS program, and inspection program all in one program?
That is an excellent question. So Vector EHS Management does offer a variety of modules so that organizations can track all of their safety activities. We did release an SDS module as part of the software as well recently, so that organizations can easily search for and locate the correct SDS in case of an emergency. So that functionality has been integrated with Vector EHS. And organizations can also deploy a variety of Vector's online health and safety training courses within Vector EHS as well. And we are just continuing to work on enhancing and as well as developing further integrations with Vector Solutions, other platforms over the coming years. So definitely more to come there.
Okay, we'll do one more call out to questions if you have them, everyone. Again, Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. You can type the question and click send. No, I sort of asked this a minute ago, but anything else unsaid from either of you?
No, I just wanted to thank. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Candace.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, no, I think, no, I think we've covered everything fairly well here.
All right. Well,
Thanks.
no, again, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna. I just wanted to say thank everyone for attending. And if there's any other questions or anything that else we can do to be of assistance, please don't be afraid to reach out if we can be of any further help.
And just to remind everyone, what's the best way to contact either of you with any further questions?
Sure. So feel free to drop me a line. My email address is Danielle .Goddard, Goddard, at vectorsolutions.com.
All right. And as we're speaking, it looks like one more question has come in, and we're getting back to the most recent topic. It's asking, what's the breadth and depth of the LMS training?
So we have really hundreds of courses of online training spanning multiple industries, manufacturing, construction and engineering, as well as facilities maintenance. We have a really large and comprehensive catalog, and I'd be happy to follow up with that individual to provide them with a link to our online training course offerings, and as well as our learning management system.
Okay, well, no, again, unfortunately, we've run out of questions today, but we appreciate both of your expertise in dealing with the ones we did. Got a lot of good ones. Again, as Danielle mentioned, if you have anything that might pop up after we're through today, certainly feel free to drop her a line and be in touch. Again, we also hope you take the time to fill out the evaluation survey and provide your feedback. And once more, we remind everyone that this presentation will be archived. So to check this out and all our past events out, go to safetyandhealthmagazine.com/events. With that, we end today's Safety and Health Magazine webcast. We'd like to thank Danielle Goddard, Candace Brady, everyone at Vector Solutions, and all of you who listened in. Thanks and have a great day.